Hello and good day, everyone. Please allow me to share my thoughts on multimedia in this digital era. For quite some time, we have thought of multimedia as a system of relaying information or entertainment that includes many different forms of communication. Multimedia might include written text, video, audio clips, and still photographs in an analog imagination and mindset. But mass communication today, in these digital times, has heightened connectivity, interactivity, and ubiquity. It is everywhere, every time, on demand. The convergence of mass media has been a transformative force, reshaping the way information is produced, disseminated, and consumed. From the traditional realms of print, film, television, and radio, the evolution through computers into a multimedia, interactive realm, accessible via social media in this digital age marks a revolutionary paradigm shift. Film, once confined to theaters and scheduled programming, found a new home in the digital realm. Streaming services became the norm, providing on-demand access to massive content. Simultaneously, radio underwent a metamorphosis, transitioning from traditional broadcasting to online streaming and podcasts. Through the internet and computer convergence, radio transformed into a personalized experience, offering a diverse array of programs catering to niche interests and thus expanding the reach beyond terrestrial limitations. And it has reached our homes. Same as film. Television, which is always in our homes, are now in our pockets. The convergence of these visual media through computers democratized access, empowering individuals to consume content at their convenience, transcending geographical barriers and temporal restrictions. This convergence didn't stop at mere digitization. It compelled media into a multimedia landscape where the coming together of text, audio, images, and videos became the norm. The rise of social media platforms further catalyzed this transformation, fostering interactivity and accessibility like never before. Platforms like Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok became hubs for user-generated content, blurring the lines between producers and consumers. Individuals could now create, share, and interact with multimedia content in real time, amplifying the democratization of information dissemination. The interactive nature of social media platforms enabled not only a two-way, but a multi-way communication channel where feedback, discussions, and user-generated content became integral components of the media landscape. News stories break on Instagram, Twitter, discussions unfold, and videos go viral on YouTube, reshaping not only how information spreads, but also how it's perceived and understood. The emergence of computers as a tool for media convergence initiated a significant revolution in how content is created and delivered. Initially, print media reigned supreme, served as the cornerstone of information dissemination. However, the advent of computers facilitated the digitization of content, paving the way for convergence. Suddenly, text, images, and sounds converged into digital formats, blurring the boundaries between previously distinct media forms. Multimedia in these digital times is the seamless digital integration of text, graphics, animation, audio, still images, and motion video that provide individual users with high levels of control and interaction. The emergence and convergence of technologies, the concepts of Industrial Revolution, IR 4.0, Web 5.0, and Education 5.0, a fertile and bursting landscape for endless possibilities. All happening at the same time. Robotics, AI, nanotech, biotech, quantum computing, 3D printing, Internet of Things, autonomous vehicles, energy storage, embedded sensors, microchip implants, and the list goes on. These sets us in a state of unimaginable accelerated changes. This was discussed in the annual conference of IR 4.0, 2016 World Economic Forum. After 3 years, 2019, it was critiqued, and they saw the merging of giant companies. And so they were all criticizing this fact, and so they were pushing now in 2019 social entrepreneurship. And now we go to Web 5.0, exponential growth. Web as a single operating system, telepathic web, or symbionet web. 24/7, it's a connected world. Interact transspatially. Avatars, holograms, open intelligent web, wearable devices, embedded sensors, and Peter Fisk described it as Educ 4.0. So he was describing another set that has converged with IR 4.0 and Web 5.0. Educ 4.0. It responds to the needs of Industry 4.0, the fourth industrial revolution. Man and machine aligned to enable new possibilities, harnessing the potential of digital technologies, personalized data, open source content, and the new humanity of this globally connected technology-fueled world establishes a blueprint for the future of learning. Lifelong learning, from childhood schooling to continuous learning in the workplace, to learning to play a better role in society. And many have described in detail the generation concept of Educ 5.0, diverse time and place, self-paced, e-learning tools, flipped classroom, personalized learning, use of tools that adapt to student capabilities, free choice use of tools by students. This would be very familiar. And then project-based, a freelance economy applying skills in shorter terms into a variety of situations. Field experience, internships, mentoring, and collaborative projects. Data interpretation, focus in mathematics as the third language. Using computers for statistical analysis to predict future trends. Exams will change completely. Learning is best tested when learners work on projects in the field instead of using courseware platforms through Q&A and student ownership, forming their own curricula and maintaining a curriculum that is contemporary with teachers mentoring. Prior to the COVID pandemic, discussing this situation was considered by traditional higher education as disruption. As we can see, in the international educational conferences, the topics taken up were on teaching transformed, artificial intelligence, and other technologies to maximize the university experience. Personalized adaptive learning, which takes into account learner diversity, performance and behavior, assessment reimagined, making use of AI evaluations with use of micro-credentials for digital experiential learning, and intelligent digital and physical estates, which is smart campus design. In Zimbabwe, for example, in their visioning up to 2030, the system design and the pedagogy, which means the design of teaching and learning, is now all about problem solving for value creation. And we can see the rise of independent higher education providers for lifelong learning. In the last prior pandemic conference that I attended in Pakistan, this was in 2019, in Pakistan Virtual University, I remember. We were taking up next generation education technologies, innovations, ensuring and enhancing quality lifelong learning, addressing personal, professional, and societal development, challenges for policy and education providers, and of course, the new challenges of social sciences. And locally in 2019, with the theme Digital Media Futures in Higher Education, seamless and accessible, inclusive and quality assured, EdUC 6.0, education with a soul, through the culture of sharing and lifelong learning for all. This was sponsored by CHED. Institutions that were not agile enough to respond to the new higher education landscape branded the situation as disruption with negative baggage. But what happened was many institutions looked at the situation and took the opportunity to push the governance of their institutions towards continuity, enhancement, and transformation of education. Prior to COVID-19, in the world of education, flexibility, agility, openness, and inclusivity have already gained prominence in discussions. In conferences and conventions for the past 10 years or so, the world has since then become interconnected and networked digitally through the internet and paved the way for the emergence of enhanced teaching and learning for interactivity, continuity, and sustainability. In the case of Philippine higher education landscape, we have experienced the move to flexible, convertible teaching and learning. Every year, the country experiences almost all forms of disasters, such as typhoons, floods, earthquakes, the volcanic eruptions with numerous emergencies due to armed conflict, disruption in teaching and learning in those times and places were just solved by a week or 3 weeks delay in our classes, but being hit by COVID-19 pandemic, it was another story. Its effects will still be felt for quite some time, and it will even change, redefined, and configured how we teach and learn and discover new knowledge, how we do our research, how we move our ideas, and how we engage our learners and teachers. Flexible, blended, and remote teaching and learning. Many have branded us as a tech-savvy culture. Kaduktong dyan ay ang mga Pilipino wanting to be connected, kasama pa ng ating pagiging matulungin, mapagkapwa, mapagmalasakit, makapamilya, mapagpatawa, mapakialam, mapagmasid, makwento, at malikhain. Innovative and creative. Kaya medyo early adapters tayo sa mga media technologies, except maybe for the print or writing technology. Some explain this phenomenon by describing our early communities' strong oral tradition. And we communicate strongly with heightened orality and visuality. As we see in the Philippine experience, we were early adapters of film, radio, and television. And today, we need research studies on our students' learning capabilities and our teachers' teaching abilities as well. And probably changing ways of communicating, expanding the value of text beyond the written text, and exploring multimedia, meaning seriously maximizing the expanding academic texts to include sounds and visuals to be as important as the written text. As we academics were catapulted in technology-mediated independent learning, making learning modules, asynchronous and synchronous modalities, and doing content production, stressing the spirit of bayanihan, or the unique Filipino value of communal unity. The chair of Commission on Higher Education, Chair Popoy de Vera, states that we must find ways to cope with the pandemic during these challenging times and ensure that while learning must continue, we'll learn as one. We are ready. In support of such statements, CHED, together with higher education institutions, sought to provide the following mechanisms: free training and capacity building for faculty members on flexible learning, launch of the online resource Philippine CHED Connect, and putting up the CHED High Ed Bayanihan digital community of educators to explore innovative responses in the context of Philippine HEIs. The CHED High Ed Bayanihan is a partnership between the government and various HEIs in the country. It is said to be the first of its kind in CHED history. Through this effort, Chair Popoy de Vera claims that the challenges in education brought about by COVID-19 pandemic may only be surpassed if we all together educate and learn as one. These learning innovations, however, should be grounded on a deeper understanding of distance education and should be sensitive to the call of the times. As Philippine higher education institutions were encouraged to go into flexible teaching and learning and invested in technology-mediated education, training the teaching complement of the higher education institutions in the use of appropriate pedagogy, and the institutions were well aware of having a self-assessment program for quality assurance in technology-mediated flexible teaching and learning. And at that time, the HEI submitted their learning continuity plan for the implementation of flexible teaching and learning. Quality-assured, technology-mediated, flexible learning will help in molding our students to be guided, independent learners, seamlessly engaging through technology with other learners, their teachers, the course content, and their community. Innovative and creative, strengthened leadership qualities, independent thinking, decision-making based on empirical data, research-oriented, ability to work and learn in teams, instilling of empathy for others, respect for different cultures, taking pride towards our nation's identity, committing to service for community and our country. That is what we want to happen to our students. Today, the CMO of distance education is up for revision to respond to digital times, which may be a CMO for open distance e-learning, which is aligned and harmonized with relevant laws and policies. RA 10650 or the Open Distance Learning Act, CMO 4, Series 2023, updated guidelines on on-site learning in higher education, RA 11448, or the Transnational Higher Education Act. What we want you to do is always be updated. Once again, good day, and thank you for listening.